Hi, this is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and welcome to the Dining Traveler cooking series where we cook dishes from our favorite destinations at home. I'm at my most favorite destination of them all, Puerto Rico, and I am here with Chef Maria Grubb. She is a James Beard finalist, and she makes some delicious food. I've tasted it personally, and I'm so excited that you're here. So what are you going to teach us how to make today?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be with you guys here today. Today we're going to be doing a pastelón. Pastelón de amarillos traditionally is a fried sweet plantain dish. It's kind of like a lasagna, but on the inside we do a picadillo, which goes across the Caribbean. Some people put raisins, some people do like the olives, a very controversial subject. But today we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do an Italian version of it. So we're gonna do a spinach and ricotta mix. We're still gonna hit it with that sazon. We're still gonna get that adobo. We're still gonna get that Caribbean flow in there, and it's still gonna be delicious. So.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So let's get started. Okay, Chef, so what's our first step?
So we're gonna start first with the main ingredient, plantains. We want basically plátano maduro, which means like we want it to be like super ripe. For me, I like it to not to be maybe too ripe because I like to keep the shape.
Okay.
So I'm looking for that happy medium. So a little bit of black, it's a good sign.
Okay.
But you don't want it to be like totally yellow because then that's not gonna be as sweet, you know. But also I find it that when you fry it, the sugars come out, you know, that caramelization, that Maillard reaction happens, you know. So best way to open this, guys, is just like a banana, you know, get rid of the ends, then do a little incision, and you can do this even with your hands. So don't be scared of the plantains, they're very friendly. In this case, I'm using a mandolin. This is Japanese mandolin. I love it. I think it's your best friend. You can use it for a lot of things. In this case, I'm doing a thickness of about like ½ an inch. And then I'm gonna get even pieces with this. So it's like the perfect weight so that when we fry, all the pieces fry evenly. And then basically, this is like the thickness that we're looking for. This is for a pan that's gonna be like about like an 8 by 10 inch container. So let's start with like 3 plantains and see where it takes us. Okay. We can always have snacks.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go now and we're gonna go ahead and cook the spinach. So I like to just basically, I just wilt it. I don't go too crazy with it. A good trick is to recycle the same oil that we're using to fry our plantains. So I'm just gonna go with a white spoon and just get like a little bit of oil. And then straight in there, and very careful because this is just like fresh spinach, so it's gonna splatter on you. And then you're gonna go straight in. You can pile it up. This is gonna become literally a tablespoon of spinach. So you can just go in. It doesn't have to be just a little bit because it's gonna wilt to nothing. We're gonna hit it with a little salt. And then we're gonna hit it with a little bit of our sofrito. We're just wilting it really quick because this is gonna continue to cook inside the pastelón. So we don't wanna manhandle it. We want like that really nice, crispy, beautiful green spinach. And we're just giving a little twirl. And that's it. Just stick it out. We're gonna put it in a container and we're gonna repeat this over and over until we get enough spinach to do our layer of spinach and ricotta in the pastelón. And again, you can just the same thing over and over. Just hit it with a little bit of oil. Maybe you wanna do the sofrito first actually so we can saute it and release all that beautiful flavor. And then we're gonna hit it with that spinach. Don't forget to hit it with salt every step of the way. You wanna season your food every single step of the way. I think it's something very important that people might forget. And then you just flip it. It's still that beautiful, bright green. While it's still hot, I wanna hit it with a little bit of white pepper so that it kind of like absorbs all those flavors. And because I hate doing dishes, I'm gonna go ahead and recycle the same pan in which we do the spinach, and we're gonna heat up a little bit of passata. Passata is basically like a quick pomodoro sauce. You can find it ready to go in a jar. What I love about passata is that it doesn't have a lot of added stuff. It's just straight up like tomato puree. So we can make it Like I like to say, we can make it ours. I like to add a little bit of adobo. This is like my own homemade adobo mix. There's about 3 cups of tomato sauce, and I'm gonna do like 2 teaspoons of adobo. So this adobo in particular, mine has a little bit of paprika or pimentón de la vera, basically. It also has a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder. I try to buy like the really good stuff and then just mix my own mix to make sure that my spices are fresh, and that's gonna affect my dish because the fresher the better, you know? So I'm just heating it up really quick.
And Maria, now we're doing the fun part, which is the fun part, is frying the plátanos. And I know that sometimes frying can be a bit intimidating for folks, especially if they're not used to doing it. So can you give us some tips on how to fry the plátanos and have that nice texture for the pastelón?
So that noise that you were just hearing in the pan, it's the flickering of like we're ready to go. Yeah. And it's always like a childhood sound.
Yes.
You hear that. It's like, okay, they're frying something good is coming. So when it comes to ripe plantains, it's like any fruit. The darker they are, the more sugar they have. So if you have some that are spotty, maybe start with the ones that have less sugar. So they're gonna be a little bit more firm to the touch. So maybe we wanna start with those first so that we don't destroy our oil. The other thing is like, don't be scared of the oil, you control it. So the trick is to like get in there. Don't throw it in there, because if you throw it, then it's gonna splatter you. So it's kind of like your fault if you do that. So you just like get in, and then always like just let it slide in. Don't be scared of it, trust me. I mean, if you're scared of it, you can always like find a big old tool like this.
That too.
This is a spider. You're gonna find it mainly in like Asian stores for the most part, but like your local Williams Sonoma or whatever, those fancy stores, they should have it too. And then that's like another way to do it. Another cool thing is this is like a really old Le Creuset Dutch iron, and I've had this for like over 15 years, so it has this wear and tear. But the cool thing about these Dutch ovens is that they keep the temperature very even. So for frying, they're like excellent. So basically what we're looking for, and we're starting to see it with that first piece that we dropped there, we're starting to see like it's starting to get like golden yellow, but we're looking for a caramel. We want more color in that.
So how many minutes you would say altogether?
Well, that's a bad question.
Yeah.
You know your mom didn't have an oil thermometer or something to tell you how hot this oil is. It's literally, you're looking at the bubble. You know, the smaller the bubble, the readier your stuff is. So that's like another trick to know like how far you are. All right, so what we're looking for is we're getting like a little darker golden brown. And you can see like around the edges of the amarillos. Amarillos, in DR they call them maduros.
Maduros, okay.
Maduros, but
Plátano maduro.
Plátano maduro. My family's Dominican, so I was always confused if I should be calling it what.
And Maria, you have like an interesting background because you are of Dominican parents. You were raised here in Puerto Rico.
I was born and raised here,
But you spent a lot of time in New York City, so you have a little bit of everything sprinkled into your technique, which I've noticed.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're a product of your environment, I guess, you know. So growing up, it was everything Dominican food. Like I didn't really eat a lot of Puerto Rican food, but I was surrounded by it because I lived and grew here. So my friend's house and all that stuff. Every restaurant is Puerto Rican, obviously. So I have that love of the Puerto Rican food. But then that New York influence made me do things like this, you know, where
all of Italian food and
and like I was saying earlier, like. Just give me something red, something white, and something green Italian, and I promise you it's gonna be delicious. I think it's a beautiful natural blueprint that they have over there, which is like a nice guide. I mean, it's simple, but it's also complex in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
So we're looking for that. We don't want to overcook it. We want it to still be pliable, because if you overcook it, it's gonna get tougher. Whenever you fry something, another frying trick is immediately hit it with just a little bit of salt.
Oh, okay.
Immediately
after it comes out of the fryer.
It comes out of the fryer, because it's at its peak, and heat just like absorbs that salt, melts it, and we have
gives that extra flavor.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. All right, so the other component that we need to mix for our pastelón is gonna be the main star, the spinach and ricotta.
Yeah.
We already have our sauteed spinach, and then what we have here is about a pint of ricotta cheese that has already been kind of when you open it, just kind of like take the water content out of it because we don't want to add too much water to it, you know. And then we are adding like a little bit of cream cheese in here. Puerto Ricans really love their cream cheese, but in my case, I kind of love it because I feel like it adds a little bit of extra texture, like more thickness and volume to this. Like, it's kind of light. It's a light dish in a way. So another thing that I like to add in here to keep that like Caribbean flavor going on, it's a little bit of this dry oregano. What they do is that basically they stem the oregano leaves and then you toast it like in a pan. And then the toastiness, it literally stays with it. So it gives it like a little bit of smoky flavor. And I think this is a quintessential spice when it comes to like the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominicans, everybody has this in their stash, you know. It's something, it's very pungent. So like a teaspoon of it goes a long way, and it's always good to like rub it in your hands. Another thing, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt because I feel like with everything you need salt to marry the flavors. Also, ricotta doesn't have a lot of salt content, so I like to season that. And then I'm gonna use white pepper. I love white pepper. I'm like classically French trained, so I always reach for the white pepper. But not just that, I feel like it's less invasive and you still get that balance of flavors in your food. So also, I don't like to see the specks of black. Unless it's a dark sauce. And I go for white pepper. And then I'm gonna just add, and I'm kind of like dredging all that extra water content. I'm leaving it behind. I don't want to bring it into this party. It's not invited. So I'm just gonna like fold it in there. So we have this pan, and then I just have about a tablespoon of butter, and it's already kind of tempered because it's been sitting out, and we're in Puerto Rico, so it's hot. So it kind of takes care of itself. I'm just doing like a little base. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is gonna melt. Also keep in mind that we just fried those plantains. So they're gonna leach a little bit of fat on its own. But also, I told you, classically French trained. I look for any excuse to add butter. And this is the passata that we mixed with a little bit of adobo. I also added like a pinch of salt. So we have our base of tomato sauce, pretty much covering our stuff. We're gonna go with like the
feito.
The feito, sí, los feitos.
The ugly ones.
Pero son feitos, but de Puerto Rico. Entonces, pues we're gonna do them in the bottom because, you know, we don't want to see them later. But we want to eat them because they're delicious.
Yes, and they smell amazing.
Yes, and you know, we hit them with salt as they were coming out, so they're ready to go. And even though this, obviously they're crispy now, but we're gonna add other stuff on top, so they're gonna come down. So this is like super awesome nutmeg. It comes from Granada. So, and like it has like this amazing, like super fresh flavor. And the thing about nutmeg with dairy, it just goes so beautifully together, like a good bechamel. All right, so we're just gonna go here. We're just gonna layer. Like, you see the spinach still has that beautiful green color. So let's just dump it in here, and then we're gonna make it flat. And then, since we didn't put an egg on this, let's be smart about this and let's compact this mix with the cheese. This dish started because I did a pop-up at South Philly Barbacoa, and I was walking by the Italian market, and I noticed this beautiful fresh bufala mozzarella and the pomodoro. You can smell it that they do in-house. And then I saw the spinach across the street, and I was like, duh, you have to do this, you know? So if you have like beautiful sliced fresh mozzarella, you can just lay it over, and it's gonna melt so beautiful, and it's so thick and nice. So that's gonna be fun. So, but we're gonna go with this. Also, the good thing about the shredded one is that this is gonna melt way faster. I'm gonna hit this with a little bit more of white pepper. Now we're gonna get the prettier ones, right? And we're just gonna layer around. And then we have like leftover cheese. Just gonna hit it. Also, zero waste, you know. If you have leftover of this ricotta and spinach mix, man, grab some cannelloni.
I was thinking that too.
Fill it with some cannelloni. It'll be delicious. So I'm gonna hit it again with a little tomato. In the oven, this is gonna like melt. And it's gonna everything is just gonna be friendly in there. And then last but not least, I'm gonna hit it with that Parm cheese. I like the Parm cheese, and I like to stick with like OG Parmigiano Reggiano because it has that salt content and it's like beautiful umami. And then the other thing that I like to do, because again, I like to think about what it's gonna look like, I hit it one last time.
I like that.
With a little pinch of that oregano. And now we're gonna pop it in the broiler.
Okay.
You know, because everything's already cooked. We're just looking to melt the cheeses. The plantains are cooked, and you know, this should be no more than 15 to 20 minutes. And I will probably do a low broil.
And now to the fun part. The pastelón is done. Thank you, Chef Maria. Esto se ve de show. This looks amazing.
She's pretty.
And I wanted to bring Carmen out and also give her a little piece of pastelón, who let us borrow this amazing kitchen here in Santurce with these killer views. If you guys want to find Maria, make sure you check out her Instagram, Underground Dining Club. She's always doing all these fun pop-ups and private chefs events here in Puerto Rico. So sometimes she's in the States, so keep an eye on her.
Yes.
And Carmen, my local guest. And now to eat. Buen provecho, chica.
Thank you.
Yes. So get that amarillo, girl.